Stress. What is stress? Stress is a psychological state produced by perceived physiological and psychological forces where long-term stress must be prevented as it will seriously impede a healthy and balanced lifestyle. And there are two different types of stress. These two different types of stress being eustress and distress. Eustress is a good form of stress that can give you a feeling of fulfillment, where some athletes will engage with stressful situations as they like the challenge. This can aid their increase in skill level and focus their attention more. Where the benefit of this is that it increases intrinsic motivation. An example of this would be in football, where a player gets stressed when taking a penalty kick, but instead of this affecting their performance outcome, it helps them to perform, and they carry on taking penalties in different games but still get the same stress but still score most times. Distress, unlike eustress, is a negative form of stress. There is an extreme form of anxiety, nervousness, apprehension, or worry as a result of perceived inability to meet demands. An example of where this can occur can be in a game. It can be when the game is happening. For example, say these symptoms were to occur to a player and they were getting stressed. This then results in them throwing up or not feeling well. There are many different things that can cause people stress in life, and these are sectioned into categories. First being internal. Some examples of these would be illness, lack of sleep, or being self-critical. So this is stuff that would affect your body and how you are feeling. The second being external. This is where it is things like your surroundings or something that has happened in your life involving you, and some examples of these would be environment, being too noisy, negative social interactions, or a major life event like a loss of someone close to you. They are the two different types of things to stress you out in your life, and there are also different categories for things that stress you out, these being personal, occupational, and sports environments. Personal being things from friends, family, health, or finances, whereas occupational will be from things like your job, lack of satisfaction, or unemployment, so things that are to do with your lifestyle. Final one being sports environment, so things to do with the sport you participate in. So if you have an important game coming up, so you would be more stressed with the more importance of the game, and then also how nervous or uncertain you feel about the game will also get you more stressed. Stress can be cognitive, but will also affect the human body in different ways, these being symptoms on sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. The sympathetic nervous system causes an increase in adrenaline, which causes what they call the fight or flight response, where this will occur lots in all sports. An example of where this can occur would be in a rugby final, where a player punches the other due to them getting stressed by the situation, and this leading to them using anger from being over-aroused. Another symptom in the sympathetic nervous system is an increase in muscle tension. When this occurs, this normally leads to sport performers making a mistake. For example, in the 2010 Football World Cup, Clint Dempsey took a shot and Rob Green dropped it through his legs. This would have occurred from his muscles being too tense due to the situation. However, it is different from the parasympathetic nervous system, as it can cause a decrease in heart rate and breathing rate, as it controls heavy breathing and brings it back to the resting stages. The parasympathetic nervous system also makes the muscles relax to reduce the tension, which was caused by the sympathetic nervous system. This is useful for athletes, as it means they can be more relaxed and their movements can be fluent and free, and how they would want to perform them. Another symptom would be it decreases body temperature, which is done through sweating, vasodilation, and vasoconstriction by pushing blood to the surface of the skin to help cool it down. The main use of parasympathetic nervous system is to relax the body once the sympathetic nervous system has occurred and caused changes to the performer. There are five major stresses in sport, these being competition, conflict, frustration, climate, and fatigue or injury. For example, competition can increase stress, as in sport everyone wants to win, and this can cause people stress as they get worried about important games that they need to win. For example, a player playing in a basketball cup final will feel stressed about the game. Another cause of stress in sport would be conflict. This is where two players have a disagreement. This could be between many different people. A few examples would be a player and an official, a manager and a player. This can be teammates or oppositions. And then finally, two players, and again, this can be teammates or oppositions. This can cause stress to everyone involved as it causes an argument which can lead to a fight or shouting, which can be very stressful for the people involved or for the people trying to stop it or watching it. Frustration can also cause stress to people in sport. And I'm sure everyone in sport has at least experienced frustration in sport once and know how stressful it is, as you just want to put things right and change whatever went wrong to cause frustration. An example of where this can occur is if a tennis player loses and gets knocked out of the cup. This can be stressful as they will not want to be not not have wanted to be knocked out of the cup and will only want to put things right and still be in the cup, which will cause a large increase in stress. Another being climate, this being the weather. This can stress people out as it can affect their performance. For example, in rugby, if it is really windy, it'll be harder for a kicker to convert his kicks as the wind will move the ball. Any weather can stress people out. It will just depend on the role they are playing and themselves, as someone may not like to play in a certain climate, which can lead to them getting stressed over it. The final one being fatigue or injury. With fatigue, this can stress an athlete out as they hit fatigue. They are not able to work at their max intensity and will get tired. Tiredness can increase stress massively, and the fact that they can't play to their max will also anger them and stress them out as they will want to win. Also, if an athlete gets injured, this can massively stress them out as all they will want to be doing is playing and winning, so them not being able to do this will stress them out because of this. There are many different ways that athletes control their stress levels, one being deep breathing. This is performed as a way of relaxing the athlete as it slows down their breathing and heart rates, and also allows for enough O2 to get to the muscles. When relaxed, it also gives them time to compose themselves and prepare for the competition. Another technique being positive self-talk. This is where the participant will talk to themselves about what good happened or is going to happen. This is used as a way of making them feel more confident towards their game, and so that this can then follow on to the game. The final technique can be playing music. This is very common as it is a way of distracting and making you feel comfortable, as you normally listen to music when you're comfortable, and this can then mean that you are more relaxed. Everyone will have a preference with what music to play and will play whatever is most suited to them and gets them ready for the game and relaxed. But a good mix of both so that their arousal levels are at an optimal level. There are three theories that have different beliefs in why there are changes in behavior towards people taking part in exercise, these being the health belief model, the transtheoretical model, and the theory of planned behavior. Firstly, the theory of planned behavior is made up of three components: personal attitude towards the sport and how willing they are to take part, a person's subjective norms, so their friends' beliefs in the sport, and finally, perceived behaviour control being how easy it is to access the sport. The theory states that if all of these aspects are in place and positive for the individual, they will have a change in their behaviour and want to take part in sport. However, the theory is countered from our results from the survey as they tell us that 75% of our sample stated that friends and family have the biggest influence on them participating in sport. This shows us that they don't necessarily need all three parts to be in place to influence you into participating in sport. On the other hand, 50% of our sample had quit their training programs just 2 weeks or under in, which shows us that despite them having one of these aspects in place, they still did not have the correct drive to carry on with their sport throughout their training program, and then ended up giving up. The second model being the health belief model. This model is a person's own perception on changing behaviour in a healthier way. So whether they will eat healthily or not, this can be changed from whatever their diet is. In this model, there is the perceived benefits. This is where they would take advice from someone on being healthy if they needed to or should for their own health. It is the belief in how effective advised medicine or action will be improving or preventing a health condition. There's also an individual's perceived severity as well. This is where someone has their own perception on if they need to eat healthily due to a certain circumstance and how severe the outcome could be on them. Perceived barriers is also a part of this model and is their perception difficulties they would encounter in taking the advice, including the physical and psychological barriers. The final part being perceived susceptibility is an individual's assessment of the likelihood of how of them getting the given conditions. Our results from the survey shows that 100% believe that they are more likely to get a health condition from not participating in exercise, showing us that they have a high perceived susceptibility towards illness. Also, 75% believe that the severity of the condition on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, was 8 or above. Finally, 100% also stated that they would take given advice from a doctor or physio, showing us that people were perceptive of things that could go wrong. However, we were asking young, intelligent people, so the results could differ if we were to ask a more broad range of people. Finally, the trans-theoretical model states that to change behaviour, a person must go through a series of changes. People will go through different stages several times whilst trying to change their behaviour. The first being pre-contemplation, being where someone is unlikely to take part in physical activity. The next being contemplation, which is where someone is ready to change but knows there is lots of work to be done first. This is then followed by preparation change, being where an individual is ready to take action and change in the upcoming 30 days and taking the right steps towards improving their health. Then action. This being when the participant has started to take action in exercise and needs to make sure that they maintain what they are doing and not to give in. The penultimate step being maintenance. This is where feelings must be shared in order to not relapse. Final one being termination, and this is where an individual completely gives up and stops due to them not having the drive to continue anymore. This model states that it takes a certain time for someone to change their behaviour and it cannot be forced but eased into someone's life. Our surveys back us up this point, as 75% of people stated that they set themselves a training program. However, 2/3 of these people stopped due to it not working for them. This could then conclude in that these people did not put enough time and preparation into this training program, which resulted into them stopping.